My name is Libby Tisdell, and I'm going to begin, as I always do when I'm doing one of these little talks. I am a Christian Sufi Unitarian Universalist. I thought it was particularly fitting to tell you that because this week, as I said earlier, is Halloween, which is a pagan feast, which good Unitarian Universalists celebrate. It's also the Feast of All Saints and the Feast of All Souls. And of course, even though I'm a Unitarian Universalist, I did grow up as a good Catholic girl, and I'm still got a little part of that good Catholic girl in me still. So you already heard a bit of my Sufi tradition. Rumi, the poet Rumi, 13th century poet, was a Sufi and is one of the reasons that I'm a Sufi too. And I'm still partly Christian and definitely Unitarian Universalist. I'm going to begin by saying I love the fall. And so when I saw that this slot was open in the late days of October and it was the fall, I said, I'm in. It's my favorite season. I love the rustling of the leaves. I love the crispness of the weather. I love the wind blowing through my brain. And as an academic, I need some good wind blowing through my brain every now and then. I love the fall because my birthday is in the fall. And of course, you know it's all about me. November 12th is my birthday. I love the fall, the memories that fall evokes. I remember being a little girl and counting the days till Halloween. 10 days, wow, it seemed like an eternity. And now 10 days goes by so fast. I loved walking through my New England neighborhood because Halloween always fell on the Saturday after the clocks changed. And even though we left and went out at 5:30, it was always dark. And I loved how looking at the moon that seemed so big, shine on, harvest moon. And now I'm an adult, and I still love the fall, and I love the transition from October to November, because we are told that it is a time when the veil is thin, the veil between life and death. Maybe it's thin all the time, but at least we can acknowledge it this week, Halloween week, the pagan feast of harvest, Samhain, All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day. And I love the fall because the veil is thin, and it reminds me that I am walking in a caravan of love, a caravan of those who inspire me, including you. So what does it mean to walk in the caravan of love? There's all kinds of people that have gone before us. We're walking in the footsteps of saints and prophets, living and dead, ancestors, people who inspire us, people who inspire me. Most of you know that a few years ago in the summer of 2012, I walked the Camino de Santiago, the 500 pilgrimage walk from the south of France across to the northwest corner of Spain. It is a Christian pilgrimage. People ask me if I believed all that stuff. And I said, I believe in walking in the footsteps of Jesus. I believe in walking in the footsteps of St. James. I believe in walking in the footsteps of anybody who believed they were walking a sacred walk. A year later, I walked the Beara Peninsula in Ireland with a woman that I met on the Camino, and I saw many stone circles on that walk. We'll talk more about that later. So I continue walking the walk and trying to walk in the footsteps of people that inspire me. And it's important because one of the things that I don't love about fall every 4 years is that it's an election year. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of it. So I need to be reminded that I walk in a caravan of love and not a caravan of mudslingers, and that I need to leave a legacy of love. Who is in your caravan of love? Who are members of your caravan, living and dead? Who are your ancestors that inspire you? Who are your heroes? And who are your sheroes? In case you don't know what sheroes are, that's the feminine of heroes. Who are your professional ancestors? Who are your closest friends? Who are the people that inspire you and take care of you every turn, no matter what? Who are the people that teach you the lessons of life? So I'm going to start out by telling you a little bit of what my living caravan is. When you walk in a caravan, you need to be mindful of people that stand in front of you, but also that people that are coming behind you. I do not have children. A lot of people think you don't leave a legacy unless you have children, and that is not true. So, part of the people that have been part of my caravan as a professor, I stand in a line of people that have inspired me. And I was very honored 2 weeks ago when the woman who directed my dissertation 25 years ago came to Penn State to give a talk. And it is wonderful to have your mentors continue to be part of your life that way. I'm also mindful that I must carry on her legacy. Part of my caravan is my neighborhood community. There's about 12 of us that have dinner almost every Sunday night in my neighborhood community. They're part of my caravan too. I have a caravan that I've traveled with for a long time. It's the caravan of my family, and I have a cousin who is exactly 3 months younger than I am, and I call her my standing stone because she has had the same job, lived in the same place since she graduated from college, and I've run all around the country. So she's my standing stone. I walk in a caravan as a member of a local Sufi community. I meet with them once a month to dance and sing and pray. I am a member of this church community, walking this caravan walk with you, and I am proud to be doing so. I'm inspired by so many people here. I'm inspired by my good friend Lois Voigt, who, partly because she's not afraid to take a stand on anything, and I discovered this church with her 12 years ago, and we're both still members. I'm inspired by our wonderful Ned Smith, who runs the Catholic Worker House. And for those of you that don't know, this week celebrates the 20th anniversary that the Catholic Worker House has been in Harrisburg. And I am inspired by our Market Street connection with him. I'm inspired by Joan Hellman, who is part of my neighborhood community, because of her longevity here and because I've worked with her on search committees. I'm inspired by Kate Quimby because she is the one that told me about the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg to begin with. And I'm inspired by all of you. I'm also inspired by people that have died. A moment ago, the choir sang of our ancestors' breaths. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are still with us, whether we see them as just being a memory or we feel them in the ancestors' breath, in the rustling of the leaves. As Rumi suggests in that wonderful poem that Laura read, they no longer have a need for a crown. they have become the sun. They have no need for a belt because they have slipped out of the waist. And at this time, when the veil is thin, we honor them. Who are some of your beloved dead, of our beloved dead? So here's some of mine. My parents, of course. I would not be an educator if I didn't have the mother that I had, who was an educator herself. My father was a World War II veteran, and we did not always agree on politics, but he saw horrors that I cannot imagine. He was an absolute inspiration in his dying process, and he died when the veil was thin, November 16th. My professional ancestors and colleagues on whose shoulders I stand that are now deceased are part of my caravan and continue to inspire my own writing and research. The work of Paulo Freire, Brazilian activist and educator, is one among them that whose name some of you might recognize. My church and community ancestors who are no longer with us, from whom I've learned so much. Mary Kay Doyle, who taught me so much about living while dying. She died 2.5 years ago. She's certainly an inspiration. I served on a search committee with my beloved Joan Hellman a couple of years ago for our associate minister, Suzanne Marsh, who's now deceased. I served on that committee also with our beloved and wonderful Dick Hoke, who is also deceased. Phyllis Slater, too, was on that committee. She is now also deceased. But they are all here with us today. And there's many, many more beloved dead that I was not as close to personally that are with us here today. And left over from that search committee are Joan Hellman and me and Dawn Duffins. And we're here to continue carrying the torch. So, there's lots of ways of honoring the dead. One of the ways is through standing stones and stone circles. That was something that I have seen a lot of in the UK, especially in Ireland. And there's lots of standing stones around the world, but probably the ones that most of us are familiar with is certainly Stonehenge. They mean different things in different places, but they are often associated with a ritual site. Sometimes they are a burial site, but they are always a way to honor the dead, a way to honor who has walked in our caravan. Perhaps the standing stones of graveyards are part of that tradition. You might have noticed that we recently have our own stone circle. You can see it right out the front door. That was recently created by Jim Doyle, who's sitting over there. And the money for that garden was donated in memory of Mary Kay Doyle a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago. Many of you contributed to the money that helped create that garden. Jim created a stone circle, though, in particular, out of that garden. The money was donated not only from people at UCH, but from all over the world. And this is what he wrote in our forthcoming newsletter about why a stone circle for this particular garden. And he referred to the fact that he and his family had gone on a trip to Ireland and had seen many stone circles. He says in his note, these are his words, not mine, the Dromberg Stone Circle in County Cork came next, and there is a ritual burial, and along with the many dances around the circle, we seek our own dance. Dance was very much a part of Mary Kay's life, so fitting as her circle will someday witness expressive dance. Dance, dance, dance. The stone circle is created as Mary Kay's gift to celebrate the old and new lives, for there is the search for inner peace in all of us. This quiet stone circle peaceful place for calm and beauty is for that use. Seek the light. Be the light. So now we have our own stone circle where we honor not only Mary Kay Doyle, but all our beloved ancestors in this community who have been part of our wonderful caravan of love. So perhaps when you leave today, you might want to take a little bit of time, if you haven't looked at it already, to walk across there and have a look. So we're charged in walking the caravan of love, but we also have to carry on our legacy. So what is your legacy to the community, to your profession, to your citizenry? And of course, you better go vote. Those who who are those who are standing behind you, who are walking the caravan with you? Are they your children, your country, other people's children? So, walking this caravan with you, I feel like I am truly blessed, and you are truly blessed, and we are truly blessed. So it's the fall, and you know I love the fall, and the veil is thin. We walk with our ancestors and those who follow us. What a blessing. Live the blessing. Carry it on, and walk in the caravan of love.